James P. Dodd, the mayor of Dover, New Jersey. So, Mayor, welcome, and thanks so much for coming on. You're kind of representing an interesting part of the state here, represented by Mikey Sherrill. Is that right? Can you tell us what led to you supporting her opponent?
Sure. Good morning. I appreciate this opportunity to come on and explain my position here. You know, I'm supporting Jack Ciattarelli because he has a strong focus on property tax reform in the state of New Jersey. People can't even afford to live in New Jersey anymore. You certainly can't afford to retire here. You know, Jack has a very strong commitment to business growth here in our state. As a small business owner, I know myself how hard it is to run a small business. I have a small business with 10 employees, and it's very difficult. We want to encourage business growth in our state. You know, Mikey Sherrill, I did support her in the very beginning. Unfortunately, Mikey has taken a turn, in my opinion. You know, when you look at her voting record, it's very disturbing that you look at did not vote, did not vote, did not vote, did not vote. And to me, it's very important that you take a stance. I'm taking a difficult stance here today in supporting Jack Ciattarelli because I think he's right for the state of New Jersey. We have to change what we've been doing for the last 8 years in our state. The state budget has significantly increased, affecting local municipalities. We need tax reform in our state because we can't afford, small municipalities can't afford to continue raising taxes on the backs of residents and homeowners in our state. And so things have to change here. We need somebody that has fiscal responsibility. They can focus on fiscal responsibility and accountability. And so, yes, I am crossing party lines and I am supporting Jack Ciattarelli.
All right. Again, you are taking a risk in pointing that out. It is very rare that you see a Democrat cross the aisle, at least these days, for fear of repercussions. Are there political fears that you're wading through despite making this decision?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's attacks all over social media. But that's okay. I need to stand up for what I believe in. And that goes back to exactly what I just said about Congresswoman Sherrill. You know, take a stance. I'm very disappointed in her to vote against the Lincoln Riley Act. I'm very disappointed in Mikey Sherrill when she came out and endorsed Namdani. In New York City, he's a socialist. And so, you know, people need to stop the partisan politics and do what's right for your towns, your communities, and our state. We need to survive here. We cannot continue to be the highest tax state in the country. It's out of control, and we need to bring it back in.
Yeah, President Trump's got his eye on the race. He's supporting Jack Ciattarelli. Jack Ciattarelli ran last time. He didn't win. He didn't beat Murphy, but, you know, maybe enough people like yourself, Mr. Mayor, will be frustrated with what Democratic leadership looks like, and they might embrace a Republican. Before we let you go, I did want to get to some polling because that kind of helps put us in perspective where things stand. Now, albeit this is a new Ciattarelli PAC poll, it puts Sherrill narrowly ahead, showing her leading Ciattarelli 47% to 44% margin. It was conducted by a former Trump advisor, Kellyanne Conway's polling firm. So there are the facts. Make of it what you will. But what are you hearing from voters? Is it really this close? And can Jack Ciattarelli actually win?
Well, I think Jack can win, and I'll tell you why. We are predominantly a Hispanic community here in the town of Dover, and Hispanics typically vote Democrat. But we're seeing a big turn here in our community where they are now flipping red, and because they're tired of what's going on here in our state. Like I said, we can't even afford to live here anymore. And so the small mom and pop businesses that are struggling every day, the small families that are struggling every day to pay property taxes here are affected by this. And they've seen what the Democratic Party has done in the last 8 years. And I honestly believe now they're ready to give the Republicans a chance to prove what they could do.
Yeah, great point. And again, that is a Democratic mayor speaking out against his own party, calling for Ciattarelli to move forward and not for the Congresswoman Sherrill, which has been a very close race. It's interesting to hear your perspective on it because it's kind of the same in New York City with Mamdani. There are a lot of Democrats that aren't, all polling indicates. Mayor, thank you for sharing. That is Mayor James P. Dodd joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.